I don't remember when I first noticed him. Maybe a week ago. Maybe longer. But now, I see him every night. It always starts the same. Around 2:13 a.m. I'll be lying in bed, half asleep, when I get that strange feeling, like I'm being watched. At first, I thought it was just stress or maybe too much coffee. But then I got up, looked out my window, and saw him, standing completely still on the sidewalk across the street, wrapped in thick white fog, like the mist had shaped itself around him. He doesn't move. He doesn't speak. He just stares at my house. Not the street. Not the sky. Just me. At first, I thought it was a neighbor, maybe someone walking their dog or heading home late. But he doesn't have a dog. He doesn't even blink. I watched for 5 minutes straight once. Not a single twitch. And the fog, it doesn't move either. It just sits around him like a wall. Thick and heavy. The strange thing is, when I try to take a photo, it never works. The camera just shows a blur. Like nothing's there. But I see him. Clear as day. And I know what I'm seeing. Because last night, I waved at him. Just to see what would happen. His head tilted slightly toward me. Not much. Just enough to know he saw me. Then the porch light flickered. And I swear, for a second he was closer. Still across the street, but maybe 2 feet forward. I shut the curtain. Told myself I was imagining things. But I didn't sleep. How could I? I kept checking the clock, watching the minutes crawl by. When the sun finally came up, he was gone. And the street was dry. No fog. No footprints. Just a quiet morning like nothing ever happened. But I couldn't stop thinking about it all day. What if he comes back? What does he want? Why is he watching me? I tried telling a friend. They laughed. Said I needed sleep. But tonight, I'm not tired. It's 2:08 a.m. now. And I'm waiting by the window. Because part of me wants to believe I'm wrong. That I've made it all up. That the man in the fog isn't real. But deep down, I already know the truth. He's out there. And he's getting closer. Last night, I stayed by the window the whole time. I didn't blink. I barely breathed. At exactly 2:13 a.m., the fog rolled in again. It didn't creep. It arrived. All at once, like someone flipped a switch. Thick, white, and quiet. And there he was. Same place. Same stillness. The man in the fog. He stood right across the street again. Just outside the street lamp's glow, like he didn't want to be seen, but he wanted me to see him. He never moves. Not until I do. So this time, I tried something different. I didn't wave. I didn't stare too long. I backed away from the window and sat on my couch, out of sight, trying to ignore him, pretend none of this was real. But then I heard it, a soft sound, not from outside, from inside the house, like a faint dripping. At first, I thought it was the kitchen sink, but it was coming from the hallway. The air felt colder, heavier. I got up slowly, turned the hallway light on. It flickered, just once. Then I saw it, a puddle on the floor. Thin, clear water dripping from the ceiling above. Right below the attic. I don't even go up there. The house is old and the attic is sealed. There's no plumbing up there. No pipes. Nothing that should leak. And the water, it smelled like fog. Cold, wet, clean but wrong. Like the air outside when he's near. I looked back toward the window. The fog outside had thickened. It now touched my front porch. The man was still there, but barely visible now. Just a shape in the white mist. I stepped back from the hallway. Closed every curtain in the house. Turned off every light. But I couldn't stop hearing the dripping. I covered my ears. Tried to sleep. But it kept going all night. And in the morning, the puddle was gone. No water. No stain. Nothing. But in the foggy patch of glass on the front window, a handprint. On the inside. After the handprint appeared on the inside of my window, I didn't sleep at all. In the morning, I took a photo of it. Then wiped it clean. but something about it stuck with me. It was too large. Long fingers. Thin palm. Not shaped like a normal hand. Like it had stretched. That was the moment I stopped pretending this was in my head. I needed answers. So I started searching. Online forums. Local news. Missing person reports. Anything. I typed in things like, man in fog every night. Fog figure outside house. Fog that follows people. Most of what I found were ghost stories or people talking about sleep paralysis. But then one post caught my eye. From 3 years ago. Title, He Waits in the Fog Too Long. The post was short. Just a few sentences. Don't look at him too long. Don't let the fog touch your door. He follows people who remember him. He doesn't like being forgotten. Posted by r/Skywalker276. I clicked the profile. Deleted. No posts. No replies. Gone. But something about those words hit me hard. He follows people who remember him. So if I forget him, does he go away? Is that even possible now? That night I did something I never do. I left the house. Went to my friend Josh's place across town. He didn't believe me, but he let me crash on the couch. I didn't tell him everything. Just that someone strange was watching me. He joked that I needed a therapist. I laughed along, but I didn't sleep. At 2:13 a.m., I looked out Josh's living room window. The streets were clear. No fog. No one outside. For the first time in days. I felt safe. But the next morning, Josh looked at me weird. Said I must have walked in my sleep. Said I opened the front door sometime around 2:30. Just stood there for a few minutes. Then went back to the couch like nothing happened. I didn't remember that. I checked the door. On the inside of the glass, a new handprint. After I saw the handprint on Josh's door, I knew the truth. Leaving didn't help. Hiding didn't help. The fog had followed me. Maybe it had always been inside. Josh didn't notice anything strange. He left for work like normal. But I stayed behind, pretending to still be asleep. The second the house was quiet, I started hearing it again. Dripping. So, steady. Not from the kitchen. Not from the bathroom. From the walls. Like something wet was crawling through the house. I followed the sound. It led me to the guest room closet. The air was freezing in there. When I opened the door, fog, thin at first, floating gently in the corners, then thicker, rolling out like smoke from a fire. The closet was empty, but the fog didn't stop. It just kept coming. I backed away, shut the door, but something was different this time. The fog whispered. It wasn't words I could understand, just a sound, close, right behind my ears, like breath. I ran into the bathroom, locked the door, turned on the sink and splashed water on my face, tried to calm down. But when I looked up, the mirror was fogged, and someone had written something on the glass. For words, "You let me in." I turned around fast. No one there. Nothing behind the shower curtain. Nothing in the room. Just silence. But that message, still there. I wiped it clean, packed my stuff, and left Josh's place without saying a word. Didn't even lock the door behind me. I went back to my own house. I don't know why. Maybe I thought I could trap whatever it was there. Maybe I just didn't want anyone else getting hurt. But when I walked through the front door, I froze. The house smelled different, like cold air and wet earth. The fog had already arrived. And this time, there were wet footprints on the floor, leading toward my bedroom. I stared at the footprints on the floor. Bare feet, long, thin, soaked. They weren't mine. They couldn't be. They led down the hallway. Each step left a smudge of water and a bit of ash. Yes, like something had walked out of a fire and into my home. I followed them, slowly, step by step. Every light in the house flickered as I passed. like the fog was inside the wires, breathing with the walls. I reached my bedroom. The footprints stopped at the door. It was slightly open. Fog leaked through the gap. What? Thick. Alive. I took a deep breath and pushed it open. No one was there. But the room felt wrong. Heavy. Colder than it should have been. And then I noticed the corner. A small spot of fog still floating, almost glowing. It hovered over my nightstand. Over something that hadn't been there before. A box. Wooden. Carved with strange symbols I didn't recognize. I picked it up carefully. It was warm. Almost pulsing. Like it had a heartbeat. I opened it. Inside, a photo. Black and white. Blurry. But I could still see the shape of a man standing in the mist. Same stance. Same tilt of the head. Same fog surrounding him like a shield. But the photo, it was dated October 17th, 1952. That's over 70 years ago. And on the back, something was written in faded pencil. He watches those who look too long. He comes for those who remember. He was never human. My hands started shaking. The room grew colder. Then I heard it. The front door creaking open. Very slowly. I rushed back into the hallway. Fog now poured down the walls. The air was thick. I couldn't see more than a few feet in front of me. But I could hear him. Footsteps. Wet, slow, coming down the hall. He was inside. Not just watching now. Looking for me. I turned and ran to the attic. The one place I'd never gone before. I climbed the stairs 2 at a time, heart beating hard. I don't know why I chose the attic. It just felt like the only place he hadn't been yet. I pulled the ladder up behind me and shut the attic door. Locked it. Silence. Thick silence. Only my breathing. And in the corner of the attic, something waited for me. A mirror, covered with a cloth. I pulled it off. And in the reflection, I saw him. Not behind me, but next to me. Standing in the attic. Closer than ever. Watching. Waiting. I didn't move. I couldn't. In the mirror, he was right next to me. But when I turned my head, he wasn't there. Just empty attic space. Covers. Silence. But in the mirror, he stood perfectly still. Fog rolling around his feet. Not mist anymore, but loose smoke. Thick and dark, like it came from somewhere deep below. I waved my hand. The mirror didn't copy me. It showed him raising his hand instead, like he was on the other side, watching me through my own eyes. Then the mirror cracked. Not all the way. Just one long line through the middle. Like a vein. And then it pulsed. Not loudly, but I felt it in my chest. The attic floor rumbled softly beneath me. And I realized something terrible. The fog wasn't leaking into the house anymore. The house was leaking into his world. I backed away from the mirror, but I couldn't look away, because suddenly the reflection changed. It wasn't me anymore. It was my house, burning, covered in smoke, flames licking the windows. And standing in the fire was him, unmoving, unburned, untouched. Then the image blinked and the mirror turned black. For a few seconds, I saw nothing, only my own scared face staring back. But then, words started forming across the glass, written in the same pale fog as before. You opened the door. Now finish the crossing. The attic groaned. The mirror shimmered. And I swear, just for a second, it wasn't a mirror anymore. It was glass. Thin. So, like water held upright. And beyond it, I saw a road. An endless road. Covered in fog. Lined with tall, dead trees. No sky. No sun. Only mist. And far, far down that road, a shape, walking, slowly, toward me. I turned and ran, back down the attic ladder, slammed the door shut. The fog followed, down the stairs, into the walls, through the cracks. The house isn't safe anymore. The mirror didn't just show him. It connected us. And now, I think he's already inside me. Something is wrong with my memory. I'm starting to lose time. I'll look at the clock, 8:02 p.m. Then blink, and it's 10:47. No sound, no movement, just hours gone. And during those gaps, I feel him. Not near me, inside me. Like my thoughts aren't always mine anymore. Like someone else is standing just behind my eyes, watching the world through me. It started yesterday morning. I woke up with fog on my bedroom ceiling. Not in it, on it. Like it was pressed against the inside of the house, unable to fall. Floating. Waiting. I walked into the kitchen. Coffee machine was running. I didn't remember turning it on. My shoes were muddy. I hadn't left the house. I opened my phone camera, tried to film myself, prove I was still me, but when I pressed record, the screen glitched. For a second, it showed my face, and another standing just behind me, only visible in the frame. Thin, his head slowly turning, before the camera crashed and the screen went black. That night, I fell asleep without meaning to. Just for a second. But in that second, I dreamed of fog. So much fog I couldn't breathe. I couldn't see. And then, I heard his voice. Clearly. Not inside my head this time. Out loud. You are forgetting yourself. Good. I woke up choking. Not on spit. Not on air. On smoke. The bedroom smelled like something had burned, but there were no flames. No ash. Just cold mist around my mouth. And the mirror? New words written in fog. You sleep. I walk. I haven't slept. Not for 2 nights now. I keep the lights on. I drink coffee. I slap my face when my eyes start to close. Because every time I sleep, he gets closer. And I know the next time, I might not wake up at all. But my body is failing. My hands shake. My vision blurs. Sometimes I forget where I'm standing. Last night, I blacked out while boiling water. The kettle screamed. And I was just standing there, staring at the steam. For how long? I don't know. When I looked up at the window over the sink, there was a face in the fog. Not close, but not far anymore. Just watching, waiting, like he knew I was slipping, that my mind was giving up before my body could. So I barricaded the windows, piled chairs against the front door, lit every candle I had, thinking maybe fire would help. But the flames flickered cold. No heat, just movement, like the fog was dancing, mocking me. I tried to distract myself, read books, watch videos, but then I started hearing footsteps upstairs. Slow, heavy, wet, like someone walking through water-soaked carpet. But I live alone. I grabbed a flashlight, made my way to the stairs. Every step creaked louder than it should have. I reached the top, shined the light down the hallway. Fog inside the house, dripping down from the attic door like it was breathing. Turned to run, but my legs didn't move. They felt frozen, like the fog had touched me without touching me. And then I heard his voice. Behind me, right behind me. Not in a dream, not in a mirror. You're already asleep. Let me show you what comes next. I screamed, woke up gasping, lying on the floor. Candles melted to nothing. Windows wide open. Front door unlocked. My phone on the ground, screen shattered, and written across the wall in mist. See? You can't stop it. You're dreaming always. I left the house today, not to run, not to hide, to find proof. Something. Anything. I went to the local library. It's small, quiet, mostly empty. I asked about strange weather patterns, missing people, anything involving fog. The librarian gave me a weird look, then said, "You should check the archives." Basement level. So I did. Old newspapers. Files from decades ago. All dusty. Most of it felt useless, until I found a folder with no label. Inside a cassette tape. Just one. No case. Only a yellow sticker with 2 words written in shaky handwriting. Don't listen. So of course, I listened. Found an old player in the media room and hit play. It started with static, then breathing. Heavy, shaky breathing. And a voice. Tired. If you're hearing this, he's probably watching you now. My blood went cold. He comes when you look too long. When you see the fog and don't look away. He waits. That's what he does. Waits for your mind to slip, and then he fills in the cracks. There was a pause. He found me when I was 12. First in dreams, then windows, then mirrors. My parents thought I was sick, but the fog kept coming, room by room, breath by breath. The breathing got louder, shakier. You'll try to stay awake. You'll think fire helps. Lights, candles. Nothing works. Because it's not the fog that moves, it's you. You're walking into it a little more each night. Another pause. And then, I buried the mirror. The first one he came through. I buried it under. The tape cut off. Just static. I rewound it. Played that part again. Same thing. Right before he could say where he buried the mirror, silence. Like something stopped the recording. Like something didn't want me to know. I sat there in that cold basement room, the cassette still spinning. The fog didn't just show me the man. It showed someone else too. Someone like me. But where did he go? What happened to him? And more importantly, is that what's going to happen to me? After hearing the tape, I couldn't stop thinking about the buried mirror. I buried the mirror. But where? It had to be close. The man who made the tape, he sounded young, scared, desperate. He said the fog started when he was 12. That meant he lived here, in this town, maybe even in my neighborhood. I needed answers. So I went to the town records, old property files. I searched for abandoned houses, ones with missing persons reports, strange complaints. One house stood out, vacant for over 30 years. Owner disappeared. No family, no buyer. Just one note in red pen. Do not resell. Unsafe structure. Basement sealed. It was less than 5 miles from my place. I drove there just before sunset. It looked exactly how I expected. Rotting porch. Fog already gathering in the grass, like it knew I was coming. The front door opened without a sound. Inside was dark, still cold. No power, but the air smelled familiar. Wetwood, burned leaves. Fog. I walked carefully through the house, flashlight shaking in my hand. Dust everywhere, but no footprints. No signs of life. And yet, the deeper I went, the heavier my body felt. Like something was pushing me down, pulling me. Then I found the basement door. But someone had scratched something into the wood. Deep, messy lines. 3 words. It's still down. I broke the lock with a rusty pipe I found in the kitchen. Opened the door. Cold air hit me like a wave. Not regular cold. Fog cold. The stairs were rotting. I stepped slowly. Each creak echoed like a scream. At the bottom, a dirt floor. And in the center, a hole. Fresh, like it had just been dug. But nothing inside it. No box. No mirror. Just that thick, white fog rising up from the soil. I knelt down, reached inside. The ground wasn't dirt anymore. It was glass. Smooth, cold. I wiped the fog away and saw my own reflection. Only it wasn't just me. He was standing behind me. In the reflection. Closer than ever. His hand reaching out, and then I felt it. Fingers touching my back. I turned. No one. But a new word had been scratched into the basement wall behind me. Stay. I didn't. I ran. Back up the stairs. Out the door. Into the car. But as I drove away, I looked in the rearview mirror. The house was gone. Only fog. Thick, endless fog. Like it had swallowed the entire street. And I swear, I could still feel his fingers on my back. Everything feels wrong now. My house. My body. My mind. Since I touched the glass in that basement, something changed. The reflections don't match anymore. When I brush my hair, the mirror me doesn't move. When I blink, he keeps staring. And the fog? It's in every reflection. Not outside. Inside. In the mirror behind me. In the black screen of my phone. Even in a puddle on the street. Always there. Always watching. It's like I'm living in both places now, this world and his. And I'm starting to forget which one is real. Last night, I reached for a glass of water in the kitchen. But when I looked down, my hand wasn't mine. It was thin. Too long. Like his hand. I dropped the glass. It shattered. But in the broken pieces, I didn't see my face. I saw his smiling. The first time I've ever seen him smile. It wasn't human. It wasn't right. I backed away, heart pounding. Went to the bathroom, flicked on the light. Fog covered the mirror. I wiped it clean. And instead of my reflection, I saw a room I've never been in before. Empty walls. A single window with fog outside. A door with no handle. And a figure sitting on the floor. At first, I thought it was him, but it wasn't. It was me. Eyes wide, frozen, stuck inside the mirror, like I was trapped in the reflection and someone else was in my place. And the me in the mirror mouthed one word. Help. I stumbled backward, knocking over a lamp. It didn't shatter. It bent, like the air itself was soft, warped, wrong. I checked my hands, back to normal. But shaking, so hard I almost dropped my phone. When I lifted it to check the time, the lock screen was different. No clock, no date, just one message written in fog across the black screen. Soon, you'll see us all. I used to believe he was just one thing, one man in the fog. But I was wrong. It started with whispers, not just one voice anymore. Many. All speaking at once. I couldn't understand the words, but I felt them, like 1,000 eyes blinking just beneath the surface of the fog. Watching. Waiting. I tried to block the windows again. Didn't help. The fog doesn't need to come in. It's already inside the mirrors. Inside me. That night, I set up a camera, pointed it at the bedroom mirror, pressed record. Then I left the room. Sat in the hallway, headphones on, eyes closed. I just wanted to know what's real. After 1 hour, I checked the footage. At first, nothing. Just an empty room. Silent. So, then the mirror began to ripple, like water, and shapes started forming. First his face, then more. Hands, arms, shoulders. Not one, not two, dozens. Figures stepping into view from behind the fog. Standing behind the mirror, stacked together like shadows. They didn't move. They didn't blink. Just stood there, watching the camera, watching me. And then, one by one, they raised their hands. Pointed, not at the lens, at me. Even through the recording, they knew I was watching. I slammed the laptop shut, rushed to the bathroom mirror. Fog was already crawling across it, and in the mist, written fresh. We've been waiting. He is only the first. Now it's your turn to watch. I tried to smash the mirror. It didn't break. The glass bent like rubber. The fog laughed. Not loud, not with sound, but with movement. It swirled, rippled, and from the fog, another shape began to appear. Not him. Someone smaller, Someone familiar. But not me now. Younger. 12, maybe 13. Wearing a jacket I haven't seen in years. I stepped back. The reflection didn't. He just looked at me with sad eyes and whispered, "You opened it. You opened everything." I didn't want to go back to the attic. I promised myself I wouldn't, but after seeing myself in the mirror, the younger version of me, something clicked. Something I didn't want to remember. That attic mirror, it was already there when I moved in, covered with a cloth. Forgotten. I never asked about it. I never thought to. But now, I think I know why no one ever touched it. Because it wasn't a mirror. It was a door. Tonight, the whispers came back louder. Not just inside my head. In the walls. In the floorboards. Calling me. Come back. Finish it. So I did. I grabbed a flashlight. Went up the stairs. The house was dead silent. Like it was holding its breath. I climbed into the attic. The air was thick. Wet. Cold. But the mirror, it was glowing. Soft white light pulsing from behind the glass. Fog rolled across the attic floor like waves. I stepped closer. The surface of the mirror rippled like water. My reflection didn't copy me. It just stared. And behind it, shapes. Dozens. Maybe hundreds. Faces just like mine. People I've never met, but they were all me. Or versions of me. Some screaming. Some crying. Some completely still. The reflection me leaned closer. His mouth didn't move, but I heard him. "It's your turn. Step in." I reached out. Touched the surface. It felt warm. Alive. Like skin. The attic lights flickered and died. And suddenly, I wasn't in the attic anymore. I was standing in fog. On the endless road. The one from my dreams. The one I thought was a dream. Dead trees lined both sides. No stars. No sky. Just gray. Just fog. I turned. The mirror behind me was gone. I wasn't looking at it anymore. I was inside it. I'm not sure how long I've been here. Minutes? Hours? Days? The fog plays tricks on time. But one thing is clear now. This place, it's not empty. They're all here. The others. The ones who looked too long. Who remembered too much. And at the end of the road, he's waiting. Standing still. Head tilted. Just like always. The road doesn't end. Every step I take feels like I'm moving forward. But nothing changes. Same fog. Same dead trees. Same cold air that smells like smoke and memory. And up ahead, still standing. Still watching. I called out. My voice echoed like it had no place to land. He didn't answer. Didn't move. But the others did. Shapes in the mist. First, I thought they were trees. Then I realized they were people. Dozens of them. Maybe hundreds. All standing just off the road. Some with their backs turned. Some whispering to themselves. Staring straight at me. They looked trapped. Like they'd been here for years. And I recognized one of them. The boy from the mirror. The younger me. He looked up, eyes full of fear. Mouth barely moved. "Don't go to him," he whispered. But I couldn't stop. My legs kept walking. Like the road was moving under me, not the other way around. And finally, I reached him. The man in the fog. Close enough to see his face. Only, he didn't have one. No mouth. No nose. Just smooth, pale skin. And his eyes. They weren't eyes. They were mirrors. Not glass. Not silver. Perfect reflections. And in them, I saw everything. Every version of me. The scared kid who saw shadows in the window. The teenager who walked too far into the woods. The adult who ignored the signs. They were all there, looking back at me. Then he moved. Just one step. Forward. Fog exploded outward in all directions. And suddenly, I understood. He isn't a ghost. He isn't a man. He's a place. A door. A space that waits between forgetting and remembering. And the moment you truly see him, you belong to him. Forever. He reached out. His hand passed through my chest, and I didn't feel pain. I felt loss. Like something important was being taken. Something I wouldn't even remember missing. And that's when I realized the final truth. No one ever escapes the fog. They just forget they were in it. He didn't kill me. He didn't even speak. The man in the fog just stood there, with his mirror eyes staring into me. And I felt myself splitting. Not dying. Changing. Like my thoughts weren't my own anymore. Like I was becoming part of him. Part of the fog. That's what he does. He doesn't chase you. He doesn't drag you in. He waits. Until you see too much. Until your fear becomes curiosity. Until you open the door yourself. And you're his. And once you're here in this place, you can't go back. Unless someone takes your place. That's what I saw in his eyes. The endless loop. The reason he watches. He's not hunting. He's trading. A soul for a soul. One trapped reflection for one still free. That's why the others just stand there. They're not wandering. They're waiting for someone new to look too long. To remember too much. To step into the glass. And now, it's my turn. I'm part of him now. But here's the part that scares me most. I don't feel scared anymore. I feel still. I feel quiet. I feel fog. And if you're hearing this, if you've seen the shape in the mist, if you've looked out your window and caught him standing there, don't blink. Don't speak. Don't remember. Because now I'm watching too. And the fog never forgets a face. Candle, thank you for watching. I stay in the light. Fog and never open the door if the fog knocks. Would you like a version of this story formatted for video narration with timing, visuals, and sound design suggestions next?